Hey guys, I have another Bible video today. Today I'm going to talk about fools. The Bible had a lot to say about fools. But just to recap, in case this is the first video that you've seen, a lot of people have a lot to say about what the Bible says you can and can't do, but I don't think everyone that is telling you that has read it. I know I personally haven't read the whole thing. And I've said before, well, you're not supposed to do that, and had somebody say, well, where does it say that? And I didn't know. So I'm going to do research on a particular subject and tell you what the Bible has to say about that. So, about fools, I'm starting with Proverbs 26, 1 through 12. As snow in summer and rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a flitting sparrow, like a flying swallow, so a curse without cause shall not alight. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. He who sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off his own feet and drinks violence. Like legs of the lame that hang limp is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Like one who binds a stone in a sling, is he who gives honor to a fool. Like a thorn that gives into the hand of a drunkard. In the Amplified Version it says, in parentheses, without being felt, is a proverb in the mouth of fools. The great God who formed everything gives the fool his hire, and the transgressor his wages. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. The next verse comes from Job, and it has a lot in parentheses. I did not write down what version of the Bible that this came from, possibly the Amplified Version, because they put a lot in parentheses. But it's Job 5, 2 through 4. For wrath, vexation, rage, kills a foolish man, and envy slays a simple one. I have seen the foolish taking root, outwardly prospering, but suddenly I cursed his dwelling place. His doom was certain. His sons are far from safety. They're involved in their father's ruin. They are crushed in the gate, the court of justice within the city, and there is no deliverer. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 27:3. A stone is very heavy, and sand is very weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. A lot of these come from Proverbs. Proverbs 1:20 through 33. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in open squares. She cries out in the chief concourses, at the openings of the gates in the city. She speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? For scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn at my rebuke. Surely I will pour out my spirit on you. I will make my words known to you. Because I have called and you have refused, I have stretched out my hand and no one regarded. Because you disdained my counsel and would have none of my rebuke, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock you when your terror comes. When your terror comes like a storm and your destruction like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but they will not find me, because they hated knowledge and chose not to fear the Lord. They would have none of my counsel and despised my every rebuke. Therefore, they shall eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled to the full with their own fancies. For the turning away of the simple will slay them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely, and will be secure without fear of evil. Proverbs 3:35. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the legacy of fools. Proverbs 9:13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing, for she sits at the door of her house, on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call those who pass by, who go straight their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Proverbs 10, verse 8 in the ESV. The heart of the wise will receive commandments, but a babbling fool will come to ruin. Proverbs 10, 13 and 14 says, wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Proverbs 10, 17 through 21. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little, but lips of the righteous feed many. But fools die for lack of wisdom. Proverbs 12:1. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. Proverbs 12:15 and 16. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. A fool's wrath is known at once, but a prudent man covers shame. Proverbs 12:23. A prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaims foolishness. Proverbs 13:15 and 16. Good understanding gains favor, but the way of the unfaithful is hard. Every prudent man acts with knowledge, but a fool lays open his folly. Proverbs 13:19 and 20. A desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is an abomination to fools to depart from evil. He who walks with wise men shall be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. Proverbs 14:1 through 9. A wise woman builds her house, but the foolish pulls it down with her hands. He who walks in uprightness fears the Lord, but he who is perverse in his ways despises him. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. Where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. A faithful witness does not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scoffer seeks wisdom and does not find it, but knowledge is easy to him who understands. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when you do not perceive him in the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools mock at sin, but among the upright there is favor. Proverbs 14:16 through 18. A wise man fears and departs from evil, but a fool rages and is self-confident. A quick-tempered man acts foolishly, and a man of wicked intentions is hated. The simple inherit folly. Proverbs 15:2. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness. Proverbs 15:5. A fool despises his father's instruction, but he who receives correction is prudent. Proverbs 15:7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not so. 15:14 says, the heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. 15:20 through 22. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to him who is destitute of discernment, but a man of understanding walks uprightly. Without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. Proverbs 16:16 says, how much better to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. Proverbs 16:22 and 23. Understanding is a wellspring of life to him who has it, but the correction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. Verse 17:10 through 12. A rebuke impresses a discerning person more than 100 lashes a fool. Evildoers foster rebellion against God. The messenger of death will be sent against them. Better to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool bent on folly. Proverbs 17:16 says, "Why should fools have money in hand to buy wisdom when they are not able to understand it?" Proverbs 17:21. To have a fool for a child brings grief. There is no joy for the parent of a godless fool. Proverbs 17:25 says, "A foolish son brings grief to his father and bitterness to the mother who bore him." 17:27 and 28. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Proverbs 18:2 says, "A fool has no delight in understanding, but in expressing his own heart." Proverbs 18:6 and 7. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are a snare of his soul. Proverbs 19:1 through 3. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one who is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Also, it is not good for a soul to be without knowledge, and he sins who hastens with his feet. The foolishness of a man twists his way, and his heart frets against the Lord. Proverbs 19:10. Luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. 19:13 says, "A foolish son is the ruin of his father, and the contentions, arguments, assertions of a wife are a continual dripping." Proverbs 19:29. Judgments are prepared for scoffers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Proverbs 20 verse 3. It is honorable for a man to stop striving, since any fool can start a quarrel. Proverbs 21:20. There is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. Proverbs 22:15 says, "Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of correction will drive it far from him." Proverbs 23:9. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise wisdom of your words. Proverbs 24:7 through 9. Wisdom is too lofty for a fool. He does not open his mouth in the gate. He who plots to do evil will be called a schemer. The devising of foolishness is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to men. Proverbs 27:22. Though you grind a fool in mortar with a pestle along with crushed grain, yet his foolishness will not depart from him. Proverbs 29 verse 9. If a man contends with a foolish man, whether the fool rages or laughs, there is no peace. Proverbs 29:11. A fool vents all his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. Ecclesiastes 7 verses 4 through 6. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of a wise man than for a man to hear the song of fools. For it is like the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of a fool. This is also vanity. Ecclesiastes 7:9 says, Do not hasten in your spirit to be angry, for anger rests in the bosom of fools. Ecclesiastes 7:11 through 12. Wisdom is good with an inheritance, and profitable to those who see the sun. For wisdom is a defense as money is a defense. But the excellence of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to those who have it. Ecclesiastes 9:16 through 18. Wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Words of the wise, spoken quietly, should be heard, rather than the shout of a ruler of fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. Ecclesiastes 10:12 through 15. Words from the mouth of the wise are gracious, but fools are consumed by their own lips. At the beginning of their words are folly. At the end they are wicked madness, and fools multiply words. Though no man knows what it is to be, and who can tell him what will be after him? The toil of the fools wearies them. They do not know the way to town. Jeremiah 5:21 says, Hear this now, O foolish people without understanding, who have eyes and see not, and who have ears and hear not. 1 Corinthians 3:18 through 20. Let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you seems to be wise in his age, let him become a fool, that he may become wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He catches the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are futile. Psalm 14:1 through 7. Folly of the Godless, God's Final Triumph is the title that they put on it. The fool has said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek God, and they have all turned aside. They have together become corrupt. There is none who does good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and do not call on the Lord? There they are in great fear, for God is with the generation of the righteous. You shame the counsel of the poor, but the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion, when the Lord brings back the captivity of his people. Let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. And the last verse that I have right now is 1 Peter 2:15 through 17. For this is the will of God, that by doing good you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. As free, yet not using liberty as a cloak for vice, but as bondservants of God, honor all people, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. So that's all I have today for the subject of fools. It was a lot. So like the video, I have a lot more ideas of stuff that I'm planning on doing, not just about the Bible, but largely about the Bible. So if you subscribe, it'll keep you in the loop of what I've got going on with that. And I have an Instagram page that I'm going to put a link to in the description. So thanks for coming by, hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.